Warmdown Pod with Jose and Saucy.
The Warmdown Pod is brought to you by SW Strategies and Fight Zone and is recorded at 24A An Siang Road. Trigger warning, this recording may include harsh words, and we apologize in advance if you are offended.
Good morning, Sasi, and welcome again to the Warmdown Pod. And how are you doing?
I'm very, very well, Jose. Glad to be here again. Looking forward to recording these 2 episodes.
There's been so many things happening in the last week or so since we last did this, and I'm actually losing my head because it's just
It's
so
popping up everywhere.
many issues
Yeah.
all over. I don't know where to start,
Football is not so simple anymore, honestly. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and imagine the and coupled with the fact that we are not just talking about sports, there's also issues of politics which also impact sports,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we will get into all of that soon. And before we do that, what's happening at Fight Zone?
Fight Zone is doing great. I think we are having our Hari Raya weekend, massive workouts this week after CNY, right? People coming back in actually droves, right? At the end of the day, I think starting a business is a project, and you got to go through the process of it.
And yes, you're talking about running a business really sometimes is an adventure, right? There's never going to be a straight line, and it's always ups and downs and
Yep.
peaks and troughs. And for me, I think the last 1 week, I was actually not in Singapore. I was away because I needed to finish a book project. And that's going to be what my colleagues call a side quest. Things, the side quest which we do, like for TMS Gold. But it's a book in which I've written for a sports icon in Singapore.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to it being published. Fingers crossed. No, I mean, not fingers crossed. It will be published in the next 1 year, and not the first draft of the manuscript is being completed. But what was really interesting in the last 1 week is all the happenings around the world,
I know, man.
which is affecting sport, right?
You were away, and obviously didn't have. I didn't want to text you at the wrong time zone, but yeah, I mean, my God.
Yeah. So and while all of that is happening, and we after we thought that Hougang United's overturn of a result and
Yeah.
Young Lions, the 3 points would be like maybe a time for administration to get a little bit better, take a bit of a step back and think about what's happening. Then recently we again have got questions about why is it a coach who's not accredited yet is on the field of play, and I'm like wondering why, what actually is going on. But never mind, we'll get into all of that in a while. But let's start off this week with Singapore versus Bangladesh. It's coming up soon, 31st of
It's
March.
going to be. I heard there's going to be a carnival. There's going to be songs. There's going to be really
Carnival and songs.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I also saw that they have planned it to be a celebration of sorts, right? This is what I've heard, right? I've not really read up details on it. I mean, the details should be out there a lot more, so that it encourages people to go and watch this game, right? We have already qualified, right? And from what I heard, that there's going to be some special events happening at halftime, after the game, before the game.
Yeah, but okay. Well, let's wait for them to announce what they're going to do to turn the national stadium into a carnival.
Yeah.
But for us, I think we just want to be there to support the team. I think even though it's a dead rubber, but what do you think of Gavin's choice of his 26-man squad for that match?
I think he chose the best players available, right? It was a dead rubber. He could have experimented. I think with the country who might want to come in and actually celebrate our Asian Cup qualification, he also wants to put on a good show. Maybe, right?
Yeah.
For me, Bangladesh is not an easy team to play against.
I think so. I agree.
They, in our first game, they significantly very technical players as well, right? They've gone down the naturalization heritage player route, right? They've got the Choudhury guy, Hamza Choudhury, that actually,
Hamza Choudhury,
yeah,
who plays in the UK, right?
yeah,
And I think you're right. I don't think there's any easy match, right?
yeah, at this
Our
level.
under 23 couldn't beat Timor Leste. Don't forget that. So that I think is
Thank you for bringing that up again. Well done,
I
Jose.
need every episode we
Yeah,
have
every
to
episode,
talk
right?
about it, right? No,
Yeah.
there's no two ways about it.
Yeah,
Cambodia
yeah,
also beaten us before at the under 23 level,
yeah,
so it's no easy game.
yeah.
So I think so to your point about
Yeah.
his best team available.
He picked his best team. I was hoping that people like Ignatius is going to be in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I think Ignatius has been playing quite well, right?
yeah.
Who else was I hoping for? I was hoping for somebody else, but otherwise, I think it's Irfan is back, so we got 3 fundies back, right?
Yeah.
It's been quite a while, right? I haven't seen Irfan play recently, but we all know he's that marauding defender that we've been waiting for him for quite a while now.
I I think past reputations mean nothing
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
I think the coach needs to pick
yeah,
based on who's
yeah,
the best performer. Yes, sometimes there'll be some players who've got that big match
yeah,
temperament, but I mean, I think there are also other players who deserve the call up.
mm,
Right? I mean, you mentioned Ignatius. I also think Haris Baharuddin
mm,
from Albrecht, right? I think
mm.
that's another one who's deserving.
Yeah, Albrecht has got this guy that came over, Zul, right? Came over from LCS.
Zulkarnain Suleiman, I think he's also been left
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Right. And here's the question or an observation. We have got only one young lion, who is the old lion, Izwan Mahmud, who's been selected. I mean, there's no other young
Yeah.
lions selected for this match. And like I said, dead rubber, you've got nothing to lose. Why are we not actually giving the young lions, or a few of them at least, an opportunity to
Yeah,
be part of a system, right?
yeah,
For them to get prepared, because they are the future.
yeah. I agree. I mean, I completely agree with you. The young lions are supposed to be our future.
Yeah.
Right?
And what's the whole point?
I think Gavin went for the tried and tested team, right? Yeah,
I agree. I think so. I think, like I
Yeah.
said, he's probably trying to make sure that he's got his best team available
Yeah.
to ensure that they end on a high note.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong in that. His choice. He's the coach. He's got to do what he needs to do to achieve the results. And we'll be there, right?
Yeah, we will be
And
there.
and what are you expecting from this match? I mean, as a fan and as a
fan, I want to
and a
see
podcaster,
I want to see an exciting game.
exciting means what?
I want it to be us really taking a go at Bangladesh, right? I want to see them maybe slightly back foot, where regardless of the score that ends, right? They've got quality players.
Yeah.
They've got really quality players. I know Hamza actually plays in the center as well, right? And first game he was all over the pitch, right? So I want to see a really good game. I want to see Iksan is come back to form. I realized they called back Jordan, and Jordan is now moved forward, right? He's no longer that defender we used to know.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think the squad wise, we've got a very decent squad to take the game to them.
Yeah. Do you think Hamza Choudhury is going to be in this team, coming back all the way from the UK for this match, which is a dead rubber? I think there may be a few players in Bangladesh who may not come for this match.
Probably,
right?
It was actually on their Instagram where Hamza was not in the team, right? But they put in the caption saying Hamza will be joining later.
Right.
Right.
So that's the thing, right? So there's always a risk. Now, because it's a dead rubber, there's nothing for them to play for, and they know that it's playing away from home. They're not in Dakar, and I think you also want to protect your best players, right? And especially because he's earning his career in the UK. What's the point of coming here for a dead rubber, getting injured, heading back? It impacts your career. For me, I just want to see one thing, that we whack the crap out of them, right? So it can be fun. and we'll have lots to talk about, and we'll
Yeah.
have a lot of enjoyment
Yeah.
walking away from the match. Yes, I want to see lots of goals scored because that's something which I think we've not been able to do.
Even for a while.
It's been a while since we
Yeah.
really hammered the crap out of somebody,
Yeah.
right? And also, because even at the SEA Games, you're losing to Timor-Leste. So
Maybe Gavin feels the same way,
I
right?
think, yeah,
I hope
exactly.
so.
No, which is why I think, like I
Yeah.
said, he needs to get his team into the mood. And I think also doesn't help that the match against Faroe Islands has been
Has
called off,
cancelled, yeah.
right? And I was thinking that would have been a good match for them to, play,
Exactly.
because it's a European team, and
Yeah.
unfortunately,
So now, when they get together, they got the option of getting another friendly.
yeah,
Yeah.
against who at such short notice? I mean, maybe they can play against the Japanese players from Tampines and Albirex together in a
Is that
friendly game.
possible?
Why not?
Who's
I mean,
going to
but
be
I
the
don't
coach?
think they'll
Who's
do
going to
it.
coach them?
Who's going to coach them? Kino from Tampines Rovers, since he's here in Singapore without a accreditation pass. I don't know what's he
Ooh,
doing in
I
Singapore.
said you up there.
Maybe Firdaus Kasim. Let Firdaus Kasim do the job of coaching this team.
Yeah.
Maybe if he, maybe if he beats. Actually, the thing is, even if he beats Gavin,
Yeah.
we can't count it as a competitive match.
I know, man.
So that means he's still.
On a side note, right, where as you're bringing up Firdaus Kasim and all that,
He's our favorite point of.
is our favorite
discussion.
point, right? I got to give it to Mo Ali, right? I think he's an incredible coach
Why?
with what he has.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Every last week, right?
Yeah.
Was it last week that they beat Alvarez?
Yes.
This guy, every year he struggles,
Yeah.
but this guy is. I always wanted to see him part of some national setup.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
hoping that he'd get there because this
Yeah.
guy, you give him the tools, he probably has the means to work something
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Always punches above his weight.
Yeah.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
know something about Noah Ali? Think about it. He's the longest serving SPL
Yeah.
coach in the club, in the club's
Yeah.
history, and across all clubs in the Singapore Premier League, the longest
man.
serving coach. But sometimes decisions are made by people
Yeah.
and personalities,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, he's going to be one of those who will probably suffer because somebody somewhere probably doesn't like him, right? But all said and done,
I love him though. I love him. Right.
all said and done, they rather that a coach who's not won a single match for more than a year, almost a year,
Yeah.
given the role of doing it. But that's their decision. But back to this whole issue with the Faroe Islands. I mean, the match was called off for Singapore in the United Arab Emirates because of the war in the Middle East.
Mhm.
It doesn't look great, from where we are sitting right now with
Yeah.
the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. The fact that there are projectiles flying all over Middle East. Don't forget the Asian Cup
Uh-huh.
is going to be held in Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
in about 9 months' time.
9 months.
Right? And from everything which I'm hearing on BBC, on Economist, it's going to be a long drawn affair. This is going to be a long drawn affair. So, what's going to happen to the Asian Cup if this continues all the way to
Within
another year?
9 months, if it's going to be a long drawn affair, I think there's possibilities you got to look at. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And I've read up so much on Saudi Arabia actually investing in the Asian Cup.
Yeah.
Right. I'm building their leagues, getting all those top 8 players as well. Right. I was looking forward to going there.
Yeah.
Right. I just hope it's not cancelled or postponed. Right.
It's dangerously close
Yeah.
to some kind of a decision, right? Because, I mean, look, I'm very sure if you are sitting with the AFC right now,
Yeah.
you'd be worried because don't forget, just a couple of years ago, we had this issue of the pandemic,
Yeah.
right? And there were events which were, we had to undergo force majeure. Or
Yeah.
you can cancel, canned. I think that there are discussions ongoing for sure
Yeah.
about the what if, right?
Mm.
What if this
Mm.
really is a prolonged conflict? I mean, let's not forget, Russia's conflict with Ukraine, the invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's already now
It's going on and on, right?
4 years.
Has it been 4 years already?
20, yeah, 2022.
That's quite crazy. Isn't it?
That's not it. That's the all. Then you've got the conflict between Israel and Hamas, right? That was in 2023,
Yep.
in September, right? 2023 September, and it's still ongoing. So these conflicts do seem to have a way of
Just
stretching, and
stretching. Yeah. I think definitely there has to be a lot of content,
yeah, all right.
right? There has to be some. I'm sure the AFC are sitting down trying to make contingency plans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One step at a time, right? I mean, because AFC still just recently had to deal with the whole Malaysia issue, right? And now Malaysia has been docked
Yeah,
points,
Malaysia is out of the Asian Cup.
and they are out of the Asian Cup, but there's always going to be a way for them to come back in. But
How is that? You tell me.
no, I mean, right now, if they appeal, or if there's an appeal,
Yeah,
right, that could well be overturned,
yeah.
right?
What's with these appeals, huh? So decisions are never final anymore, right?
Exactly, and and I'm quite sure you're referring to
Yeah.
not just the Hougang match, right? But at the Africa Cup of
Yeah,
Nations,
have fun. How can this be? When I read it, I was like, oh my God, they have just overturned Senegal, right? So for what happened in the African Cup, for listeners that
uh-huh.
are not aware, right? Obviously, there was a contentious penalty that was given,
Yep, yep,
right? Which made Senegal leave the field for a
yep,
good 12 to 14 minutes, I think.
yep.
Sadio Mane took the lead and brought his players back in, was applauded for that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Came back, they took the penalty. Penalty was a Panenka that the keeper caught, and Senegal went on to win the game, right?
Yep,
So now they've been overturned. Morocco are
yep,
now the champions
yep,
because, according to the rules, a team cannot leave the game,
yep,
and there has to be a result for the other
yep,
team, right?
yep.
So it has been overturned, and all those celebrations, Senegal being champions and all that. I don't know how they're going to work it out, right?
Dude, isn't it it's so embarrassing, right? But it's not the only
It's
time.
more than a month after the. Yeah.
Isn't it so? I mean, can you imagine how fans and countries? I mean, how the people of Senegal, how the
Yeah.
Senegalese feel right now? With this administrative decision,
Yeah.
right? Very similar to the decision over Hougang,
Yeah.
and how the match had to be overturned because of a stupid mistake by both the club as well as the FAS, right? And then again, prior to that, in Singapore alone, we had the Singapore Cup final, which was also an administrative affair. There was a problem. Why is it there's all these issues surrounding
I don't know.
football?
So what do you feel about the Malaysian one?
The Malaysia,
I want to hear your thoughts.
as in like you're talking about the decision now to dock their planes. I think that's
So was it
actually
administrative?
looks to me like it's an administrative issue which caused the fiasco, right? Whether or not the documents were forged or whether the documents were submitted wrongly, that's regardless. Fact is, they were not valid, right?
Exactly.
And not only have they been found guilty by FIFA, but there's justification in the evidence.
Yeah.
The fact that the matches have been overturned is, I think, the lightest of the punishments.
The players were initially banned.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And it's the lightest of punishments, right? I think that was the least which AFC could do.
Yeah.
What I think has not been done, and maybe, maybe a bit too extreme, would be to ban Malaysia from football for a period of time.
But there has to be some other form of action as well.
They've also been fined, right?
Okay.
So I think there's been a fine. There's also been the players, having some level of sanction. But is that enough? I mean, okay, the leadership of the current, the FAM has also been, they've all resigned so en masse, and now it's going to be a new leadership team. Is that enough? I think, in my view, I think it's probably well, I've got two sides to what I'm going to say. Right? One, I think it's very light, right? But you see, why should the players or all players in Malaysia across all the clubs and across
Yeah.
all the competitions suffer
Because
through a
of
ban because of administrative error of the leadership,
Yeah.
right? Wherever, whoever, right? Then, would it be fair for every single club player then have to face the consequences? Can you imagine what happens if there's no Malaysia at the SEA Games, there's no Malaysia at the Asian Cup? Oh, sorry, Malaysia's not going to be at the Asian Cup, so there's no Malaysia in the SEA Games, there's no Malaysia at the Asian Games, there's no Malaysia in AFF, that
Yeah.
Hyundai Cup which is upcoming.
Yeah, I know, man.
Then it'll be a very different competition, right? So I think because Singapore has also been historically Singapore has been part of the Malaysian Federated States. We were part of Malaysia before. Obviously there's some level of emotion tied to.
Exactly.
Whenever Singapore Malaysia plays against Malaysia, there's a lot of rivalry. We don't want to. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see Malaysia, go down.
I don't
want to
want
see Malaysian
to, but
people.
now that you mentioned the rivalry, I also want to mention the Raihan Stewart comment after the game, Latin night, right? It is what it is. We lost 2-1 the game. I remember it was overturned 3-0 for us.
Yeah.
The question I have for you is, these players are now allowed to play, right? I think a couple or three of them, if I'm not wrong, are playing for JDT. So are they considered Malaysians or foreigners?
They're Malaysians. They are naturalized players.
So
They've got Malaysian passports. They're Malaysians.
Wow.
So they are like our Kyoga and Song Young.
Wow. Yeah. So
anyways, we hope for Malaysia to lift itself up after this fiasco. But it's also a learning point for all of us, actually, that sometimes there's no shortcut.
Yeah.
And which is why I think, for Gavin, with the upcoming match and also, looking forward to the Asian Cup, hopefully he's able to, do what he needs to do with whatever he's got at his disposal.
Whatever he's got at his disposal. And at the same time, we want to spur the country on for the kids to look forward to try and be in the national team.
Yeah. And I don't want to, hopefully we don't see this scenario where in the next 1 year or next 9 months leading up to the Asian Cup, there's a flurry of naturalization of players leading up to the game, because leading up to the finals, Asian Cup finals, because we want a national team whom we recognize. We want a national team whom we identify with. Right. And not just a national team which is, what's the point of having players whom we don't
know, right? We don't feel close to.
What's the point?
I hope if he wants to strengthen his squad, please go ahead. But the team that qualify, go in. Regardless of how you do, go in, give a good account of yourselves.
And we did that before. We did try that before, in the 2000s, when I think in the leading up to the 2010, no, in the matches which we played for the 2010 World Cup qualifiers, right? There were some matches where the bulk of the team were our naturalized citizens. We had like Mustafi Faruddin, Alexander Duric, John Wilkinson. We had Precious. We had Shijai. Right? So there were
5, 6.
More, it was almost half the squad, and I think I may be missing the names of a few players, but after all and done and dusted, then you kind of like go down to the ground and start listening to the chatter, and people were upset. Right, that it's a team which wasn't really Singaporean, even though everyone. Duric had been in Singapore for a decade because he was. He was not naturalized because of a foreign sports talent scheme. He was naturalized because he had been in Singapore for
decades.
For a decade.
He's still providing to Singapore.
Exactly. So Mustafiq is still here. And but I think the point is, what's happened in Malaysia has also taught us. I think there's a lesson to be learned, and
always, man.
Right. So
so
leading up to that match, I think against Bangladesh, it's happening now. In just a few days' time, and we will be there. Don't forget, we will be there. And we've also told our listeners, if they see us, come and say hi to us. Right. And before we end off this week's episode, what exactly was this big fat fitness tip you wanted to share with us?
Oh, fitness tip.
Yeah.
Yes. I think there are a lot of fitness tips out there. Everybody wants to get you motivated. Everybody wants to get you doing something else, right? But I've got a fitness tip for you, right? So in fact, Zone, you do a lot of wiper locks, Bulgarian bags, which are leather bags. We do them. We use them for strength, right? Instead of using a traditional dumbbells and weights, right? So the fitness tip I have, you got to listen in, right? There's 5 movements
Okay.
that you gotta understand.
Okay.
Right? One is a squat,
Okay.
right? Second one is a hinge.
The hinge.
Yes, the hinge is where you do a deadlift with your back,
Mm.
right? You know the hip
Mm.
hinges, right? And then you have your push, pull, and then you have your core. When I say core, I don't mean just the abs, I mean your entire core structure. So these 5 movements you got to learn, and they have to be correct. Once you learn these movements, you can plan your workout any way you want. You don't need to worry that you're going to do something and get injured.
Okay.
Because if you got your squat right, you can always do a lunge.
Okay.
It will be correct. Once you get your hinge correct, people don't do the hinge. Hinge is one of the hardest for someone who's not worked out. But once you get the hinge right, you get your glutes, you get your hamstrings, you get a bit of core, and you get to do other exercises as well,
Yeah.
right? And then you go push, pull.
Yeah.
Push, shoulders, chest, right? These are weight training, I mean, whether you do, I wouldn't say weight training, I'll go back to resistance exercises, right? You don't need to do that with weights. You do them body weight, you get stronger, right? That's my simple fitness tip. So once you get this 5 right, you learn the form correctly, get someone to watch you, right? Or try and learn it yourself, hire a trainer if you have to, right? Once you get this right, mix and match your workouts. You will do fine.
Great.
Right.
So, and where can our listeners head to have a workout?
Head to Faizone, please. Right. Come in on our website, book a trial. We will call you. We will when you come in for that complimentary trial, we do a body analysis. Tell you what's your body composition, what's your body fat you have, what's your muscle mass you have, and then we put you through the workout. And we try and make it easy.
Okay.
Right. And at the end of the day, all this when we plan Faizone workouts, we make sure there's a lot of resistance in it. Make sure we don't feel it. We make sure you get your heart rate up as well. All right. So at the end of the day, it's only 30 minutes. No class bookings. Right?
Superb.
You always work out with a trainer.
Great.
That's what it is, right?
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah,
stuff.
please come in and join us.
All right. And so let's call this episode to an end today.
Yep.
And if our listeners have got anything to reach out to us, they know how to reach us, or they can DM us or just write into hello@swstrategies.org.
DM, just let us know. Comment on the videos if you want to, or whatever points that you have. Please
Absolutely.
let us know.
Yep.
right?
And
Yeah.
great. Thanks for the listeners who also share with us about the audio issues. We are fixing all of it. And and thank you. And see you again in a week's time.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Pod is brought to you by SW Strategies and Fight Zone. Tune in again next week for another episode.